South Africa have completed a 6-wicket win against Bangladesh. It's the second last match of the group. We're now going into the last game, needing to win it, of course, because we don't know what's going to be happening in the other game. Obviously, we're going to have to need Australia to lose. We need Australia to lose against the West Indies or Bangladesh going into the end of this round. But from South Africa's perspective, going with momentum into the game against England. So there's a lot of things that we need to discuss about this particular game. We would have liked South Africa to obviously finish a lot quicker. That would have been the aim from everybody, to finish it between the 10th and the 12th over. But we lost a couple of wickets. The pitch was doing some crazy things, especially but also good bowling from the seamers from a Bangladesh perspective, because that ball was cutting in superbly, and we saw some of those batters completely cut in half by some of the deliveries. So there has to be a shout out to some of the Bangladesh bowlers, of course. We need to give them some credit for the way they bowled, even though they were all out for 85 in this particular match. We saw a pan camera go to Ashwell Prince as they were losing these wickets. He looked really peeved off by it. So I would like to actually hear what his thoughts on it. But Taskin Ahmed, well done to you, 2 for 18. You bowled exquisitely. You gave South Africa a proper game. Hats off to Temba Bavuma, though, 31 of 28. I think that one shot that he hit, leaning back over mid-wicket for 6, was the shot of the day for me. I really enjoyed that from Temba Bavuma's point of view, and I think that gives him a nice confidence going into England, who he has relative success against in the white ball arena. So hopefully we can see South Africa take this momentum and really beat England, because we're going to need to do that. We're going to need to be up for it. We need to be amazing on all fronts for us to even try and win. So let's get on to this review show. I've got Paul waiting for me in the back end, but we would like you guys to join us as well. So get into the live chat, look at the link at the top of the live chat, click on it, and you can call in on the show and have your say as well on the game. And you can also talk a little bit about what you'd like to see in the next game. And then as well as anything that you want to say to us, or you want to ask us any questions, you can do so too. But before we get going, before I bring on Paul on the show, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. You need to do that and click the notification bell for all future videos. Smash the like button as well, and also become a subscriber of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every single issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. You can click the link in the description as well as on the eye on the top of the screen, and you'll get it directly to you. Every issue, including the World Cup edition, is 100% free. So let's get straight into today's video. Let's do this, guys. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is Paul, that's my co-host today, and we're going to be chatting about the game between South Africa and Bangladesh. Ultimately, I think a convincing win from South Africa. I would have liked to obviously see Quinton de Kock get into some form and really take us home, but I think this makes him hungrier for England as well as for the knockout game if we get through. So hopefully that can happen, and hopefully we can get through to the next round. But let's get your thoughts. We've got Seppo also joining us right now. I'm going to bring him onto the screen.
Hello.
Good to see you, bro. How are you doing? Anyway, so I like to see that the mic... Oh, look, I'm colorblind before I say this, but I like to see that the mic is matching your shirt, or is it not? Am I colorblind?
It is matching. It is matching.
Seppo supporting the Lions, by the way. This is Lions.
What? Stop right that. Here. Stop right there. Don't call any. No. I'm not supporting the Lions. Centurion boy here. Let's not forget.
We never know. It's either the Lions or it is the Free State. So, you never know.
Oh, with the yellow. I thought you were saying.
Is it orange?
Like, no.
What color is
it? It's yellow.
It's very yellow. Yeah, very.
Whoa. You see, that's my color blindness coming in. So let's move on from that. Paul, let's start with your thoughts on this particular game. And to the guys in the poll, also, you got the poll that you can vote for if you want to
Oh,
give
there's a
your
poll.
player of the match.
I
Yeah,
want to do that too.
awesome. So let's start with you, Paul.
Yeah, look, I was happy that they won the toss and bowled first. I just wanted South Africa to put Bangladesh under pressure. I think Bangladesh were, how do I say it? They really struggled with the bat this tournament. They've come into the tournament having beaten Australia, New Zealand, and Zimbabwe. There were seven. They had won 7 games against Australia, New Zealand, and lost 3. That's how good they were coming into this tournament. Then in the tournament, on pitches that are not too dissimilar to the ones in Dhaka, I think the ones in Dhaka are a lot flatter and a lot harder to score on. And that's what you wanted to kind of put them under pressure with. And the great thing about today, because you didn't know which pitch they were going to use in Abu Dhabi, but the great thing about today is that they used pitch number 7, which has been very favorable to the quicks. And so really, really awesome to see Timber acknowledging that and actually giving all his quicks up front the ball, like Kagiso bowling 3 overs, giving Dwayne an over in the power play, bowling Dwayne and with 2 overs each at the top, to kind of break the game up. And that's essentially what you needed in this tournament. The South Africa kind of needed a game where they could dominate and try and go hunt for net run rates. If it will happen, but I don't think it will get to that point. And well, it might, but I think the way Australia messed up against England, it's a little bit harder. So that was good. I really loved the way Kagiso bowled. They were aggressive. They were quick. They bowled that in between length, that back of a length that just had the Bangladeshi batsman playing. It was actually a test match length. They had the Bangladeshi batsman playing off their back foot. No, not a lot of foot movement, edges. Reza's catch, by the way, my word. My word, that was top class. And they had some fielding issues, like some misfields and things like that, but they want a lot of drop catches. But that needs to be tightened up a little bit against England because that could cost you. But really, really awesome to see from a bowling perspective. The spinners also came through. I love that. I love Shamsi bowling as always, kind of gave you an inkling. The thing for me, no problems today. The thing for me was how is South Africa going to respond before the game to Bangladeshi spinners, Mehdi Hassan, Nasum as well. And because obviously Shakib is out, they were going to look for another part-time spinner, and that was the question. They had dropped the Fizz, and they went for 2 seamers, which I kind of felt that if Mr. Fizur was playing today, we would have probably been in a little bit more trouble because everybody struggled to play the quick bowlers. That the back of a length, the ball would either rise up, it would die. It came in with a lot of swing to the right hander, and it caused a lot of problems. Reza and Aiden's wickets were a classic example of the swing that was on offer. And they got out. I can't bemoan everybody for their wickets. I think the only person I could bemoan is maybe Quinton playing back to a ball that he knows comes in to him. But yeah, because to me, Khalid, it kind of felt like Quinton was given the license today to go hard. He did try to do that, but it was a little bit harder going hard at those quicks. The moment Timber and Rassi came in, Timber did well to see off Tuscan Ahmed, as well as Shariful Islam. But then on top of that, he showed his class and the ability to wait for the bad ball, and he got that. And there was a cover drive that he played to Shariful Islam for 3. It wasn't for 4. It rolled, but it was a beautiful shot. And that's the type of stuff you want. I know on Sunday I was talking about how Timber's tempo was off, that he wasn't necessarily looking for singles against Sri Lanka. This is the type of innings you want from Timber. It's not going to be 130 or 140 in these conditions, but what you want is for him to be able to keep the strike, the numbers moving, the strike rotating to kind of get you where you need to get to. And then on top of that, put away the bad balls. There were bad balls. He put them away. As you said, that shot over mid-wicket, that's my favorite shot of Timber's. It's so beautiful. It's just literally, he lifts it up and it's like a pitching wedge, and then it just lands just over the boundary. That was really good to see. Rassi struggled a bit today. But you can see now who the best player of spin in this team is. And that also kind of gives you an inclination that he may need to bat a little bit higher or bat at 3, depending on, especially against England, when Moeen Ali or when Adil Rashid are going to start bowling, because that's when you want Timber to be batting to be able to nullify the threat that Moeen Ali and the other guys and Adil Rashid pose. I would have loved for them to get there a little bit quicker. As you said, net run rate is now 0.7. I'd have wanted it to actually push it to a little bit closer to 1. But I'm happy with everything. Now it comes down to the only issue is I don't think with the batting order that we have that we can beat England's score with the way our lineup is set up right now. I do think that Aiden needs to bat higher, and I do think David Miller needs to bat at 5 in order to give us a chance to be able to chase whatever England are going to give us. Against England, I'd say win the toss, put them ball first, put them into bat to kind of nullify that net run rate. So even if they score 200, all you tell yourself is to try and get as many as possible, get to about 150. But the key reason is to bat the full 20 overs because that will nullify the net run rate impact should Australia lose to West Indies or Bangladesh somewhere along the line. That's the only way I'd say that. But it's in South Africa's hands. They just need to beat England.
Yeah. Ultimately, that is exactly the story over there. Tsepo, I want to ask you about, obviously, Mpo spoke a lot about the batting. I want to get your thoughts on the bowling. I mean, South Africa has proven to be a bowling unit that just bowls momentum and gets stronger and stronger as series go along, as matches go along. This is the perfect start for our bowlers and the way we bowling. I think that first test against Australia was a good one because we were defending a very low total and we actually did quite a good job, I feel, at keeping Australia to an extent at bay. But we're gaining momentum consistently through this. What is your thoughts on the bowling attack before we get into the callers on today's show?
I'm very happy with the bowling attack. It's from ball 1, Keshav Maharaj came in, not a lot of runs off his overs, extremely economical. Then KG came in, and his pace was just too much to handle. The express pace rushed the batsmen. They struggled to get the ball to the boundaries. And what was fantastic about this display was not just how well how many wicket taking opportunities there were, but you could see the dominance of this bowling attack. Like, obviously, you could see with the how Bangladesh finished on 85, but they really struggled to score, really struggled to get the ball to the boundaries, and yeah, the balls kept rushing them. Heinrich Nokia and KG Rabada kept hitting them with tons of pace that they couldn't control, and you could see that they were very dejected. And when the spinners came in, I wouldn't say it's a cakewalk, because I mean, Bangladesh would probably be a bit more accustomed to spin, but the pace bowlers did a fantastic job, and you could see how KG was on form. He wanted to bowl all four overs, just after the power play, because he bowled 3 in there, and that was also very impressive because KG's hasn't really looked that good in the power play, but yeah, he showed his quality today. And yeah, it was a pitch for the bowlers. It was definitely a pitch for the bowlers. There was a lot more movement towards the end of the day, but the way the movement was controlled, like KG's sick, like the ball that the wicket that he got, the second, because he got 2 wickets in a row, almost got a hat trick. That one that like had that late movement into the pads of Suima. Sarkar. That was a fantastic delivery. So yeah, very impressed with the bowling attack and very impressed with how the bowlers were used. And not just that, we need to also commend Temba Bavuma for his field placements once again. Difficult to score runs, and the catches that went to the fielders. There was Kagiso's first wicket went straight to a fielder. Reza Hendricks as well, a thick outside edge that flew to him within like 0.59 of a second, and it was very quick, but it went like straight above him. So the field placements were on point. So and the bowling performance that's definitely our strong point, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think it's now time for us to get our callers on the show. and let's hear what they have to say about the match. We've got our first call over here, who is Hunain. Hunain, welcome to the show. Do you want to have your say and what you think of today? And he has disconnected, so let's bring on Lorenzo.
Hooray!
Lorenzo, you're gonna have to
Hey,
save us for fire. You are obviously going to be. You currently are representing all the fans right now. So have your
hey,
say. What is your thoughts?
hey, boss. Yeah, I'm quite happy about the performance, but for me, we could have won it a little bit earlier, maybe in the 12th over. If can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you
We can hear
perfectly.
you loud and clear.
Yeah, we could have won it in the 12th over. So for me, I'm just a little bit disappointed. I know we lost two early wickets or three early wickets. But in net run rate, it's not about losing wickets. If we showed a little bit more impetus, we could have actually won the game in the 10th way. Because I told my brother, he was at work, so I phoned him. So I told him half time, look here, if we can win this match in the 10th over, it will do wonders for our net run rate. Look at England, how England battered Australia out of the game when they were knocking on the door for a big loss. So
Mhm.
for me personally, I'm happy with the performance. Brilliant, brilliant bowling performance. So, but I'm just scared about our betting. Our betting is a little bit more fragile than I thought. And for me personally, I would bring back Clausen. I know I'm not the biggest Heinrich Clausen fan, but I will
What?
bring him back. Yeah, we must bring him back because if you look at Reza Hendricks, if you look at Rassi van der Dussen and Temba Bavuma, they're all one-dimensional players. You can't have all three of them playing in one team. I mean, that's a bit ridiculous for me. We have to bring Klaasen in. Klaasen, yes, he's not on form, but what Klaasen can do when you require to bet at 11, 12, 13 over, he can do that job. He can smack the ball all over the park. I mean, Rassi can do it. I don't know why Rassi don't do it because when he play MSL, he do it time in, time out. When he in 2018, he was what almost the leading run scorer. He had a massive performance in the 2018 MSL. But since then, since he played for South Africa, he can't do it. So what seems to be the
Lorenzo,
problem here?
That's a
Can
bit
I ask?
harsh.
What if we go in with the assumption that we're going to put England into bat first, and our
Yep.
bowlers can restrict England to around about the 150 that
Yes.
that Sri Lanka did the other day? Would you be okay with taking Reza? Because I think 150 could be comfortable for that batting lineup that it is right now.
Exactly 100%. But that's what I'm saying. But if England bat first, they score 180, and Reza is playing, they'll be in trouble. I can tell that for sure now. And we're playing again on the Swords wicket. That's going to be low and slow. You understand? You catch my drift. So for me personally, we should have had Yanaman Malandi. Let's not get ourselves twisted here. Yanaman should have been there.
Yeah.
Because if he was there, we wouldn't have sat in this mess that we're sitting right now. And for me personally, what I told my brother also last night is our best batsman currently is Aiden Markram. Why can't we open with Aiden Markram? Give him a lot more balls to bat in the public because I don't want to say this, but to be honest with you, to be frank, we push poor in the power play. We are absolutely ridiculous. Sorry for my language, Khalid,
It's fine.
but
It's
we
fine.
are ridiculous in the power play. So for me, I will elevate Markram to open the batting with QDK. And another talking point is everyone is talking about Temba Bavuma. He played a magnificent innings today. Why are we not having a discussion about Quinton de Kock? I mean, this is getting ridiculous now. If you look all over,
Yes,
all over
talk, my man, talk.
Talk, Lorenzo. You lead the discussion. We'll follow.
if you look at social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they all everyone is able to go at Timber. Why? The guys he saved our butt today as well, again with the batting. Because in the last innings, if he scored 20 of 8 balls, people still would have crucified him because we were in trouble. Why did they bat so fast? He should have took his time. Then that would have been the argument. So I mean, we should start start having this QDK debate now because it's getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
get
yeah,
into the QDK debate. We're gonna get into the
Okay.
QDK debate, but I want to ask you, Lorenzo, about because we haven't really spoken about the coaching. So leading up to
yeah,
this in the preview, I mean, we spoke in the preview yesterday. I mentioned it is that the one thing that Boucher is going to have in this particular match, and the challenge that he's going to face, is that he maybe needs to have a little bit different tactics because of the opposition's
Yeah.
coaching. Because obviously Otis Gibson, Russell Domingo, Ashwell Prince know these players very well.
Yes.
They would have
Yes.
played with them or had them as under them at some point in their careers as coaches, either domestically or internationally. Particularly the bowlers, because this is the bowling mentality that
Yes.
Otis Gibson wanted to take in the 2019 World Cup. He wanted to dominate with his bowlers and then
Exactly.
to try to get
Agree.
his batters to like chase down anything. So I was quite surprised that maybe that the Bangladeshi guys didn't have something up their sleeve, maybe when it came to the
Yes.
bowl to our bowling
But I mean,
attack,
they
at
couldn't
least.
though because they scored 85. So I mean, they
Yeah.
couldn't hit something up this.
Of course, yes, but I thought
Yes.
that their approach might have been a little bit different. But
Yes.
from a Mark Boucher perspective, do you have anything to say on Mark Boucher, and the way he is, maybe his influence on the team so far in this T20 World Cup?
Okay, look what I can say about Mark Boucher, right? I think he was a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He's what you what is. I'm a wicket keeper batsman myself, so I can relate to him, right? So I think he was a fantastic player, and I think he's a fantastic coach. Yes, he mightn't have all the qualifications, quote unquote, um, to be at the top level, but I think he played a lot of cricket. He knows the ins and outs, and a lot of people look up to him and he won trophies at the Titans. So what I think is what he bring into our game, right, in our T20 game in particular, is, and we can see how we played since the West Indian series in the West Indies, right? We are not, from my point of view, a bashing team. We are a team that rotate the strike, and I think that is what he brought to our team. Is that good in today's day and age? Me personally, no. I would have wanted us to be more attacking, but then again, we don't have attacking players in the squad. That's where Rasi come in. That's where Riza come in, and that's where what's his name? Right? No man. What's the other guy's name? Rasi, Riza, and
Temba.
Temba. Yes, that's where they come in. Three of the same players. So so what I thought is that he maybe you want to galvanize around those kind of players, you want to play that brand of cricket, but against England, that's not going to work. Period. It's not going to.
Okay,
Unless
thanks
we
a
ball
lot.
England out to, if we ball England
Yeah.
out to 130, then maybe we can spring a surprise there. But
Yeah. Toss
I'm
is going to be
still hoping.
important.
Yeah, very important. I'm still hoping.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lorenzo, for coming on and giving your say. I really enjoyed that, and please join us
Cheers,
on the next
guys.
call-in again as well.
So,
Cool.
Hearing from you, Lorenzo. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, awesome commentary. We
Opposite
would like
was
more to
read.
call you. I don't know, Oppo. We're gonna bring on Ravi now as well. Welcome
Not
to the
saying
show,
anything,
Ravi.
Lola.
Ravi, you heard
I'm the
Lorenzo.
number one fan of your brand, Khalid. Really, you guys are doing a great job. Wow.
Just wanna get you out of here, man. You come with the pochos.
Maybe I should change my name to Nuno.
Yo.
Oh, he's starting early.
Yo, I'll sack
We
you.
mustn't speak. We're gonna end up sixth, Ravi.
We might have the same problem in 3 games, you say.
Let's not get that. That's for our football channel when we start doing that again on a Friday evening when I get the energy to be able to. But Ravi, let's get your thoughts. Let's start with that Quentin the Cock discussion, because this was my argument a couple of nights ago. I was basically a solo alone defending Temba Bavuma on the stream, and it was after he scored that 46 or 46, and I was like, but we are criticizing Temba for producing a good it wasn't a flawless innings by all means, but he was the highest scorer, and here we're criticizing him. At what point do we criticize Quentin de Kock? It is something that we need to discuss as well. I'm going to give you some insight. When I look at his scores, and you guys go to Cricket Info and you look at his scores in T20 cricket, you'll see Quentin de Kock is the type of player. It's like 4 or 5 innings of 4 innings, and then 2 half centuries in a row, and then maybe he goes another 3 or 4, and then he goes another 2, and then or maybe 1 half century, and then he goes off a bit of form, and then. So I was hoping that this is going to be that type of World Cup, a little bit off of form, and then come to the fold against England, come fold in the semi-finals, and then he can dip maybe in the final because we've got maybe a collective team performance that we can win. That's the ideal fantasy that I hope we're going to live. Your thoughts on Quentin de Kock? Do you feel he's going to turn it around? And do we stick with him? Because I saw people on social media calling for his head and saying he should be dropped, which I don't agree with.
No, no, I disagree with that completely. Yes, he's out of form, but he's a vital cog in the wheel, as is Timber Bavuma. So I don't see us going forward without either of those individuals. Quinton de Kock and Timber Bavuma are two different players. One's a little bit more circumspect with their shots. The other is very much free flowing and expresses himself the way he wants to express himself. In fact, both pretty much attest to that sort of playing style. But one is certainly more conservative in his stroke play, the other not so much, right? And each to their own. Let them play to their strengths. In terms of the macro environment, I would say that just because England are riding off the success of Josh Butler, and kudos to him, he did very well yesterday. It's working well for them. Doesn't necessarily mean we need to do the same thing. I think we are playing more cautiously. Maybe in the long run will be to a detriment. Enough, fair point. But it's working for us. We're doing well. I think we bounced back in the best possible way. It's one of those wickets. Remember, we said last night that it's one of those wickets that could easily backfire. So if you had to take an aggressive stance and do what the previous gentleman said and have a much more flourishing power play, and that's something I called out on last night, that the power play was a strategic pointer, was a critical success factor for us. If we didn't get that right, it could backfire. It's also one of those things where if you took an aggressive stance on a very slow wicket, you could have been easily 50 for 6, and then we would have been saying to the guys, hey, Dwayne Pretorius, this is your time to shine, son. And that's not a situation I would ever want to wish on the South African cricket team ever. So, in summary, I wouldn't mind Timber to take as many balls as he wants to get that 40. He's been the standout player. Somebody said that Aiden Markram's our best batsman. In my opinion, it's actually been Timber Bavuma. Quinton de Kock will eventually find form. He must just play in the style which he feels comfortable with. He is Quinton de Kock. He's only played in one particular style, and it's worked out for us over the years. And hopefully, at some point during the tournament, he will come to the party and actually score some mega runs as well. I think the one place that is under scrutiny right now, and this is something we spoke about in last night's show, so I encourage all the viewers to watch last night's podcast again, is just on Reza Hendricks's spot particularly. Personally, I'm not a fan of shuffling the order at this stage of the tournament. I think it could be catastrophic for us. But I see now that there might be some merit in bringing Heinrich Klaassen in, particularly towards the latter overs of the game, and rather get your better batsmen like de Kock. Obviously, he's opening. You've got Markram as well, could potentially open. You've got Bavuma that could potentially open as well, to play more overs in the power play, because that's what you'd want at the end of the day. And then Klaassen and Miller could potentially play the closing role, where they could at least accelerate the run rate towards the last 2 or 3 overs in particular. But that's just my 5 cents around. I think it was a compelling performance overall. We knew it was going to be a low-scoring game in South Africa. I think another comment that was raised in the comment section of the channel is why hasn't any credit gone to Mark Boucher? And I think fair play. There was obviously a plan. The team played to the plan. The strategy worked for them. They knew that if they're going to win the toss, they're going to put Bangladesh to bat. And boy, did it work out in our favor. Kagiso Rabada, wow, what a spell from him. I mean, it was incredible. He actually brought us into the game significantly. We knew we'd hit them hard where it hurts the most. The fact that Shakib Al Hassan, their best player, isn't in the team. We said, let's put their batting order to the test. And unfortunately, Bangladesh weren't successful today. And Kagiso Rabada took those 3 valuable scalps as well. And that sort of led the attack for us.
I was asked to ask a question on Twitter. I can't remember who the handle was that messaged me, but I have to go back to it and go check. But someone asked me to ask the panel, to beat England, it could be something different that could surprise them on the day, maybe that will be the differentiator between us beating England and or not beating England. And they asked me to ask the panel, and I'm asking what it would be. Me personally, I'm setting up this question in a way. It wasn't set up like this in the question. It was just a straightforward question. But I'm thinking that this is the thinking behind the fan. I'm trying to get behind his mind. But he said, what about Quentin de Kock batting at 4 and then Aiden Markram opening the batting with Temba Bavuma or with Riza Hendricks, wherever the case may be? Um,
Ooh.
let's go around the screen because I think this is the debatable one.
I'd be okay with that. I would, but I know the type of thinking that comes in that team management, and yeah, they're winning games, and I know Mark's not going to want to change much. He's not willing to experiment with things like that in a big game like that because effectively, if he loses and gets knocked out, his job could be on the line. Even though they've had very good 3 games in this tournament, they won. That obviously Australia was the issue. So I'd be okay with that, but we should have done that earlier against outside of the World Cup. So if it hasn't been tried outside the World Cup, I wouldn't say you should do it. But outside of that, I'm always keen for something new. I was asking for Dwayne to be given an opportunity to come in as a pinch hitter whenever you lose 2 wickets in the power play, just to make sure that you've got enough batting in the back end. Because Dwayne's done that before, and Dwayne's really good at that. And there you give him the role to just be a fully fledged hitter in the power play once you've lost your 2 wickets up front, just to kind of make sure the batting lineup's a little bit longer. But I think with the way in which the team management right now sees the game, as Lorenzo said, is slightly more conservative, more let's try and always get the same formula that gets you to 150, because 150 makes you competitive. And to a certain extent, I would have hoped there would have been. I'm happy that they're being a lot more flexible with the whole Reza thing instead of going with Heinrich Klaassen as an experimentation. But we saw that in Ireland. We weren't happy about that in Ireland. So to essentially, one of the situations is that essentially just, I'd be okay with them going back to Heinrich Klaassen for horses for courses. And that's the type of managerial and coaching ideas that you'd want to have. I was kind of disappointed today that one of the guys, because I understand we lost 3 wickets, but the other thing is that we kind of needed somebody to always be pushing the run rate, and this was a perfect day for that. Yes, we did lose 3 wickets, but you had David Miller at the height, you had Dwayne Pretorius, you even had Keshav, and you needed kind of like a 40. Had you maybe been like, I don't know, 50 for 5, I'd say shut up shop, but we were 40 for 3, and we could have necessarily tried to get Rassie to try and up the run rate and push it as much as possible. And that's a coaching thing and a captaincy thing that could be offered. Outside of that, Quinny at 4, I'd be okay with it. But Quinny doesn't want to bat at 4. He wants to bat in the power play because that's where he gets his most runs. And I do think that you kind of need Quinny going, because the question is, who are your best players on the side? It's Quinton and it's Aiden. Get them enough balls as possible. I'm okay with Aiden batting at 3, so he can get as many balls as possible. But I'd also want David Miller to also get as many balls as possible in the final 10 overs, because I think David Miller is very important in the final 10 overs. And if we played it like this, to say that, okay, fine, Temba's going to open with Quinny, and Quinny gets as many balls as possible. If 1 wicket falls, Aiden comes in and Aiden plays, and Rassie's the glue. If Rassie comes in, if Temba goes out, time to kind of be the glue that links the innings together. And then if a wicket falls after over 10 and Aiden is already in, the next man in should be David Miller, because you want to give David Miller as many balls as possible to try and take you deep. If we played it like that and we're a lot more flexible like that, I think we'd be much more of a threat to England, because they wouldn't know who was going to come in, and we'd be playing to our team's strengths rather than giving guys 10, 15 balls to kind of win us a game. And so for me, that's something that I would hope for. But yeah, maybe giving England something different is good. But I do think giving England Keshav is also pretty good to start off the game when you're bowling, because I do think Keshav could be a game breaker, or even trying Aiden Markham for that one over at the top to see if he can't restrict them or can't get an easy wicket against either Roy or is it Best or is it Butler? It's Butler who opens. So for me, that's what I would do.
Before you guys answer, there is a caller that wants to call in. Others before his internet reconnects, I'm going to bring him on. There's 34 people watching currently. Smash the like button. I want to see 34, 40. There were more watching early on, so I want to see 30, 40 likes on this particular video. Help us get that. I'm going to bring on the next caller right now, and we're going to hear what he has to say. Okay, Hunain, welcome to the show, buddy. Do you want to have your say? Just on mute currently. Hello, you on mute.
Hunain.
Hunain.
How's it? Hunain? We can't hear anything.
It's very faint. You can't hear.
I love how I lean forward, but I have earphones in.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Hunain. You can try again. Maybe we'll try to get you on again.
What's in the screen?
Umpos in the screen. Give us a dance. Give us a dance. Give us a dance. Hey.
Okay, guys. So let's go again. Let's go to the rest of the guys. What do you have to say about?
What's
Ravi?
Paul doing? He's doing like a little like shimmy there. Like what's that about?
Because we won, guys. We
Center
won.
screen, bro. Come on. That's that center screen energy.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
But to answer your question, Khalid, I don't know. I'm not a fan of mixing up the order too much. I was even a bit skeptical of Temba Bavuma coming in at 4, but you know what? It's not working that badly. I thought that having Temba Bavuma and Rassie van der Dussen right after each other would slow us down. But in my opinion, sometimes we need to be slowed down. Sometimes we don't need to be putting pedal to the metal. Yes, it could have been 1 over more, but guys, it was just 1 over. Like plus 7 versus -6, or 0.7 plus 0.7 versus minus 0.6. That's already like a whole run that Australia have to make up. If we lose badly to England, then I'm going to be concerned. But I don't expect it to be that bad. I don't expect us to get thrashed. I think our bowling attack is a bit more. We'll put up a bit more of a fight. Decent spinners. Well, the world number one, the T20 world number 1 bowler, and we also have KJ Rabada and Heinrich Nokia. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Like if we rushed it and we started losing wickets and we needed to panic, that wouldn't be a good way to go about going with the innings. But yes, Quinton de Kock at 4. No, I don't back it. I haven't seen Quinton de Kock bat at 4 ever, and now you want to do it against England. Like it's just timing. It's just it's not the right time to try it. If we tried it before, then it would have been cool, but I'm not sure about it. And also just to say, horses for courses, as Umpo was saying, I know I laughed at Heinrich Klaassen earlier, but I mean, he does have a...
Chipper's pulling one. Yeah, pulling on. That's good. Imagine if that's going to be what we call it from now.
Oh no, Chipper's got load shedding. I would
Oh,
assume.
Is it? Okay, I'm going to kick
possible. It's very, very possible.
I love that, man. But I just love that screen. It's just great. It's a great screen to have as your wallpaper.
No, that should be
so screen grab it, do all your things.
That's the epitome of.
I'm gonna have to let him out of the stream. I'm sorry, Tsepo. Okay, Ravi, you want to continue that because I think you agreed with Tsepo. You would never want to see Connie at 4.
No, I'm happy with Quinny opening. I don't think they will, even if the option was presented, I don't think they would pursue that at this point in time, especially the stage of the tournament. Quinny, again, it's the same story. You would want one of your best batters to actually make most use of the power play as well, which we haven't really seen to date. In fairness to the theory around changing the opening lineup, but I would go the route of experience and still continue with Quinny as an opener. The other thing I think we haven't really spoken about is while we know the obvious thing is for us to beat England, the question is how we do it. But the other challenging aspect is that Australia actually has 2 games in hand as well. So there's a lot riding on how they perform against the West Indies and Bangladesh. In fact, I think Australia's got Bangladesh next, if I understand correctly. And I think while we celebrate the fact that we've beaten Bangladesh, they're on a slump. The likelihood of them beating Australia is very slim, which means we are going to be heavily reliant on the West Indies to do us a huge favor.
Talk to your boys there.
I'll give them a call. Let's see what they say.
Guys, at the end of the day, just win your games. This is not Bafana Bafana. Beat England. I know it's hard, but if you don't have the tools to beat England, then the selection's the issue. Why would you go into a team not being able to be able to beat all the teams that are on offer? So if we're still doing mathematics at this point in time, then we've lost the plot. We need to beat England. Find a way to beat England. And yes,
we didn't know we had to play
great. But the way West Indies are playing very poorly, the way Bangladesh are playing even worse, I don't see them beating Australia. So you need to go do the job on Saturday. And if you don't, we're going to go back to the first game in the tournament where everybody was a little bit flat and everybody decided to allow Australia to beat them, even though Australia aren't that great. So it's a tale of South African tournaments gone past, where we always like to leave it at the back end. And true to form, they like to do that.
Yeah.
But for me, win the toss, field first, and put them under pressure. You put England under pressure.
I agree with that.
If that power play is 50 for nothing, you've got to find yourself in a lot of trouble.
But I mean, we kind of like the yin to England's yang at the moment. Our bowling attack has been superb as of late, and their batting lineup, I mean, case in point, Josh Butler, have been in sublime form. So I would agree with that. Win the toss, the right thing to do, put them into bat and try and keep the total to as low as possible. 140, 150 range and see what happens. I don't see South Africa posting a compelling total of 160 plus against England. I don't see that happening.
Hello. Yeah, so
the dummy run there.
Okay, cool. So let's wrap this up, guys. I think this was an excellent review show. We gave everything that we needed to. Looking forward to the previous show. So thanks a lot, Umpo. Thanks a lot, Ravi, for coming on the show. Thanks a lot to all the callers. Thanks a lot to Dylan for giving us a super chat. Go ahead and subscribe to our monthly magazine. It's 100% free. Link is in the description and in the eye on the top of the right of the screen if you want to get that. And also subscribe to our channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Smash the like button. I want to see over 40 likes on this video. Please, guys, share this with all your friends and family. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. An exciting one we have for you. Take care.